In this episode, I'll be going over something that I think a few people have actually asked about for a little while now, and it's my budgeting video. Hi, I'm Meshack, and welcome back to another episode of The Bemused, where we talk about... Hi, I'm Meshack, and welcome back to another episode of The Bemused, where we talk about all things personal finance for young adults just like you and me. So first, let me give you some context before we go into my budget. So I am an hourly employee, and as Akiva mentioned in her video, she is a salaried employee. Pretty much the overall difference between the two is that I get paid based on the amount of hours that I work. If I work a little bit more, then obviously I get paid a little bit more, I get taxed a little bit more as well. But again, we'll get into that later on in the video. The cons to that is if I work a little bit less, then I get paid less. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you net figures, not gross, but net. So if you are receiving an annualized figure of $50,000 or $60,000 for the year in payment, that is not necessarily what you will be taking home. Net is the amount that you receive after all taxes, deductions for medical, like anything like that that is removed from your paycheck. That's what you actually have to take home, and that's what I actually use for budgeting purposes, is that net figure, not the gross, because I don't see all of that money. On a bi-weekly basis, my net take-home pay is $1,221.20. So the first item that comes out of my bi-weekly take-home pay is my tithe. As we've mentioned before in some of our videos, I am Christian, specifically Seventh-day Adventist, and I withhold 10% of my gross pay. So that's the only thing that I do gross as opposed to net. And that's a whole another story, but Akiva actually told me that I was doing that wrong. Never mind. But I do it off of the gross amount. So if my gross amount is $50,000, I do 10% of $50,000, not 10% of that $1,221.20 that I receive. So for tithe, I return $178.77 bi-weekly, and again, that figure will change based off of the amount of hours that I worked for that pay period and what my gross figure is for that pay period. For groceries, I keep $125 for that month to spend on whatever grocery expenses I'm gonna have, and that's pretty much what I stick within. I don't go over. I do try and stay under some months just in case something happens and I need to pull some funds from that grocery fund, but $125 is what I have set aside for groceries. Then my student loan payments. I think that we are going to cover this, or we might have covered this, I honestly can't remember. But now that I am out of school for more than 6 months, I am paying back my student loans. I was able to apply to the student loan forgiveness program, and thankfully got in. So my student loan payments are based on my income, and currently my student loan payments are $235.54 a month. The next thing that I put in my budget is haircut money. So that is $25 a month. Next is gas. So $40 a month. Savings. And this is just towards a goal that is coming up in the future, and I save $540 a month. Next is renter's insurance. Because I live in an apartment, renter's insurance is something that's really important. The company that I have, my premiums are $10.50 a month. And then, because fun is important, for any fun items that I want to do throughout the month, whether that be see a movie, go to dinner, hang out with some friends, whatever, I have $50 a month put into my budget for that sort of stuff. So that was pretty much what comes out on my first paycheck for the month. My second paycheck of the month, the bi-weekly pay is the same. So $1,221.20. Sorry, had to look down. So what comes out of that paycheck first is, again, tithe. So we have $178.77, and that figure will fluctuate, as I mentioned before, based on how many hours I work. Then rent is what comes out of paycheck number 2 for the month. And my rent for now and moving forward is $707. Then my cell phone bill. So that is $65 a month. Then internet with good old Verizon Fios. That is $39.99 a month. The next item is car insurance. For my car insurance, I pay them at the beginning of the 6-month period. So what I do to make sure that I have the funds for my car insurance is I estimate based off of past data around how much my premium is going to be for that 6-month time period. And I've pretty much found a sweet spot. So I save I save $83.33 each month, and that when you multiply that out by 6, that's how much I'm able to save for that 6-month time period. And then if it's within that, I just pay it off immediately. Next is gas, which I mentioned. I'm sorry, I gave the month figure before. So it's actually $20 each pay period. So it'll be $20 is what comes out of paycheck 2. And then the last deduction, or one of the last I should say, is travel, because most of my family lives in New York City. Akiva lives in Boston. Travel, something that I will be doing more than likely, or Akiva will be doing coming here. So I have $90 in travel expenses each month, and that comes out from paycheck number 2 for the month. And then lastly, I have laundry. So laundry is something that I honestly play with on a monthly basis. I have $30 in my budget, but I honestly don't ever spend it. And the reason why is because I go home, like I said, travel expenses. I go home probably maybe once a month to New York, and thankfully, my family has a washer and dryer. So I pack up my car and I take my stuff to New York and I wash my clothes there free of charge. So I'm able to, like I said, between the grocery budget, the laundry budget, and my fun and travel, I'm able to really balance things around that way. If I spend a little bit more, or I need to spend a little bit more on something, that's how I'm able to make those adjustments throughout the month. And then also, like I mentioned, I'm an hourly employee. So if I work a little bit more, I have a little bit more to play with that month as well. So although I have this framework of a budget, it is very fluid and it depends on the time period that I'm dealing with. For example, my birthday was in June, and that month I saw like a large amount of spending, and that's just because of all the birthday plans that I had. But because I was able to shift things around in that grocery budget and say, hey, well, I'm not going to need to spend as much this month, and so on and so forth, although I spent more, I still stayed within my budget, if that makes sense. Also, just a little bit more information for you. Akiva is an app person. She uses her budgeting apps on her phone. That's not me. I like to get behind my computer and update my spreadsheet pretty much daily. It's something that I started, I want to say, after I took my accounting course in undergrad. I wanted to find a way to infuse Excel into my everyday life so that I would not lose those skills and my accounting skills that I got in my Principles of Accounting course. So since then, I created a spreadsheet that I just designed and myself, and I've pretty much altered it to do different things that I want it to do. But I've been using that since 2014, somewhere around there. And so far it has not failed me. And I have everything in there. I have my monthly spendings, literally like a statement that the bank is going to send me. I track that on a day-by-day basis. I then have my salary tab where it has how much I make, gross for the year. Again, that's loose terms because I'm not keeping track exactly of how much in that tab, how much I actually make. So I just have that annualized figure that's on my offer letter. And then I have my budgeted items, and I have how much I should have from each paycheck in excess. And I have that all in that salary tab. Then in the next tab, I have my actual figures. So each month I track how much I actually received that month. And then in the bottom right somewhere, I have like the excess that I've made throughout the year. Then in the next tab, I know it's a lot of tabs. In the next tab, I have what my planned things to do are for the year. So I have things like Christmas money that I already have put aside, saved in there. I have, and which account it's in. I have birthday money anything that I have kind of planned for in advance is in that plans tab. And then in my last tab is I just like to know things for travel. So I have this app called SoulSmart, and I'm a little upset because when I got the app you had to pay for it. Now it's completely free, and I use it to track my tolls, so I know how much money if I take a trip from Maryland to New York, how much it's going to cost. If I take a trip from Maryland to Delaware, Maryland to Virginia, those are the typical locations that I'll be traveling to, how much it is that I have to spend. So whenever I'm traveling somewhere, I know exact figures, and all I have to do is estimate guess of how much it's going to cost. So I'm able to really zone in on exactly how much I'm going to need for that respective month on travel. But that's pretty much how I do it. Day by day, Akiva gets annoyed with me because no matter where I am or what I'm doing, as long as I am in front of my computer at the end of the day, I am logging all of my transactions in that spreadsheet so I can keep everything accurate. And it really helps me make sure that I don't overspend, and it helps me make sure that I put everything in there. So things that are coming up, although my account might say when I log in I have $1,500, I know that I really don't have that to spend, because when you subtract this, I only have 20 bucks to spend. So it works for me. And you might be wondering, well, what do I do since I get paid bi-weekly? What I do with those extra paychecks that I get 2 times a year? So again, like I mentioned, I am saving towards a goal. Not the 52-week challenge, not the no spend challenge, none of those, towards another goal that is hopefully going to be coming up pretty soon. And what I do with that paycheck, that third paycheck in that month, is I save the entire thing. So, and again, loosely save the entire thing. Like I mentioned, if I work a little bit more that pay period and I have an extra $2, an extra $3, I usually will keep that for myself just to spend on whatever I'd like. And the amount that I have allotted that needs to be saved towards this goal, I put it aside and I save it. Immediately, I don't really think about it at all. Comment below how you keep track of your budget, if you're a little bit intrigued with budgeting, with how different people do it with their different styles, if you hate budgeting because it's a little bit challenging for you, and hopefully Akiva and I can give you some of the tips and tricks that we use to stay on budget when we respond to those comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you never miss when we post new content. Thanks for watching. Bye.